Off-season's been a whirlwind. Nothing but drama, stories, possible acquisitions, huge trades, huge signings. The Baltimore Ravens haven't hit as big as other teams have. Our fan base, and myself included, obviously wants us to hit on a big offensive weapon to change the balance of power in the AFC North. You guys know if you follow my channel or follow me on Twitter that I've been advocating for possibly looking at an offensive weapon at 14. I've slowly come to that realization. I've slowly come to that thought process. Now I'm a defensive guy; that's my background, but I recognize that we do need to change the dynamic of how AFC North teams defend us, thinking that, hey, in order to make the playoffs, you got to get out of the division first. So in any case, with Deebo Samuel possibly, or I guess actually now it's confirmed, asking for a trade, I decided to fire up some film that I have in my database that shows how versatile he is and how, in a lot of ways, he's an offense unto himself. Now that sounds kind of weird to say maybe about a third-year guy, who some people don't even consider a wide receiver one. Maybe you consider him a wide receiver two. Me personally, I don't even care for those designations. Just the pictures that I'm showing you here illustrates how versatile he is. The one on the left, and if you're a true Ravens fan, you remember it's a touchdown pass on the 49ers' first possession of their game in Baltimore in 2019 when Samuel was a rookie, where he just basically ran through Marcus Peters' face to win a one-on-one battle on a 4th and 2. I think that put the 49ers up 7-0. The one on the right, as a running back, he's stiff-arming a DB on his way to a long run. Very versatile guy, and the key is wins matchups. May drop some passes. Okay, whatever. May have whatever issues you want to say he has. He wins matchups. He makes people miss. He wins matchups. To me, he reminds me of an NBA player. You know I was going there. Of an NBA player who can beat people one-on-one, who you can give the ball to in certain situations, and he can beat people one-on-one. Now, some of you that are young are not going to like this comparison, but there was a guy who used to be able to win one-on-one matchups for a long time in his career in the NBA, and still could probably do that to this day in his early to mid-40s. His name was Joe Johnson. He was just a dude who could win one-on-one matchups. Never a 25-point-per-game guy, but a dude you wanted on your team in the last couple of minutes to be able to go get you a basket, against a great defender. Didn't need 3 screening rolls to get a good matchup. Just took whoever was guarding him. Let's get into the film some, all right? First one's going to be the touchdown run against the Cowboys in the playoffs. I think it put the 49ers up 23-7. I am going to stop and annotate some of this I am not. The thing about the Deebo Samuel that, to me, justifies him being called an offense unto himself is he can be used as a running back. Okay, now whether he wants to or not, that's another issue. I'm talking about how he can be used, how he can be deployed along with some other good players. And this 49ers team has some good players. You got George Kittle. We obviously know Juszczyk, the fullback. They got good running backs. They got a great scheme. Last year they had a great head coach and a really talented up-and-coming offensive coordinator in McDaniel. Here he is taking off. Basically, it's just like a stretch RPO concept, if you ask me, where there's a mesh, and Garoppolo's reading something. He might be reading a D-end, or he might be reading somebody who's off screen here to our right that we can't see. But in any case, you can use him at running back. And then without any substitution, the very next play, you can use him out at receiver, which causes problems for the defense. How do they match up? Do they keep base personnel on the field? Then you can do things to manipulate them. Do they go nickel? Well, then you can put him in the backfield and you can maybe run the football. George Kittle obviously is a great blocker. Our base tight end, Mark Andrews, not as good of a blocker. We'll just admit to that. Little China in route that I really like. He looks like he's going to bring this thing to the outside, and you've got an inside leverage linebacker there. Maybe that's an outside linebacker dropping. You got the tailback running the under route. So he just sits, waits patiently, lets the tailback take this defender with him. I think that actually is an OLB. And then sits there. I call it a China end. You can call it whatever you want. Those 2 plays just show you how versatile he is, though, right? Can line up at receiver, catch a short pass. Can put him at running back and have a big run. Here's a curl flat concept against Tennessee. Tennessee was pretty physical with him. I saw a couple of play action concepts where the inside linebackers made sure they collisioned him. But in any case, he's going to run that like little curl, and I think the tailback's going to run out into the flats here, into the boundary. Big play to Deebo Samuel. I mean, look at what he does to this DB. Makes him fall down. So his cut is so abrupt, the DB has to leave space here. And then once he recognizes that the ball's being thrown, The DB doesn't have the footing to go ahead and recover, and he falls down on his own. Deebo Samuel is incredibly athletic, very strong, wins matchups. That would be what I would continue to say about advocating for trading for him. Now, can you afford him? Whatever. And you have to understand too, some of these things that I'm saying to you, I'm not saying that this is the move I would do. I just look at it from an open-minded standpoint. What would be the rationale of acquiring Deebo Samuel? I think this is a dig post concept, and I think I'm showing you some real versatility that this guy offers. Maybe it's not exactly a post route up here, but in any case, this is Deebo Samuel down here. He's going to be hit late in the progression. How would he fit with Mark Andrews, Rashod Bateman, Marquise Brown, assuming that none of those guys gets traded? I don't think I think Mark Andrews is untouchable. I think Rashod Bateman is damn near untouchable. One thing, if I was to be an advocate for Deebo Samuel, that I might say, I may have a conversation with him and say, hey, do you really want to leave a program, a franchise that can do all these things with you? Maybe he's in a different place than he was a year ago. But in any case, look at the protection that they offer Garoppolo. It'd be wonderful to get Lamar Jackson that kind of protection. Would Deebo Samuel bring that? Well, no, he would not. But he will be another weapon downfield for us to use. I like Devin Duvernay. He might be gone in this trade scenario. I like James Prochet. He might be gone too. And I like Tylan Wallace. But let's be honest, there is a different level when you're talking about Deebo Samuel. There just is. And that's not denigrating those guys. I really like them. I would say that to their face if I was a coach or someone involved with this organization. Hey, we love you. We love your effort. We like your future and what you bring to this team. But I don't know that you can do stuff. I don't know that either one of them can do stuff like this. I just showed you Deebo Samuel on a curl flat concept. Basically make the corner, who's a starting corner at the NFL level, shows you he made him fall down. Watch what he does to this DB. He just pushes him off balance to gain some space. And one thing that you're going to notice in multiple plays here when he's lined up at receiver is that there is space for him to run onto, and the ball is severely underthrown. So sometimes I think Garoppolo is just trying to not make a bad throw, but by doing so, he actually does make a bad throw. He brings this defender back into play. Kind of reminds me, I've watched a lot of film of Drake London recently. Kind of reminds me of a lot of the stuff I see out of him with his in respect to his quarterback, where Drake London has got separation. Don't believe all that bullshit that all he does is make contested catches and jump balls. Don't believe that shit. Don't. Because there's plenty of times where Drake London is open. Watch my Twitter video that I put of him on Notre Dame, tearing up Notre Dame's defense. And he's open multiple times and the ball is underthrown, or just like that last one, the ball was thrown in poor positioning, and he's got to go make a contested catch that shouldn't have been. I think this is a hot replace whereby one of these inside linebackers is going to blitz, and then Leonard's going to drop out. Samuel's going to run a route that takes him right into the middle of the field, sits in behind this linebacker, which I think is Leonard, and in this case, Garoppolo fits it into the open space quite easily. Big gain, Deebo Samuel. He's tough to tackle. Now, in this case, they had three guys, and he definitely fumbled. Have I seen some issues with fumbling? I mean, how do you call it issues? He makes plays. Occasionally, at the end of those plays, has he fumbled the football? Yes. So, judge that however you wish. But I'm not going to sit here and say he has fumbling issues. I have seen it happen on film. Whatever. All right, play action boot concept. In case I don't have all the information labeled, but there it is up at the top. I was just trying to get something out as quick as possible. The clear out route is going to be this receiver down here to the bottom of the field, this field side. The one thing that I noticed about Deebo Samuel is for him to get across the field and make an impact or be open on the other side of the field, he can line up a lot wider than other people. That speaks to his burst. That speaks to his stride level or his stride length, and just flat out how fast he is. Because he's lined up a little wide here for him to possibly be impacting this play over here to the wide side of the field. And he does. He's wide open. Easy play in the 49ers structure, 7 or 8 yard gain. Deebo Samuel can do it all. One thing I love about the 49ers offense is you get all this movement, and the offensive line is capable of blocking for any run. They've had multiple. Mostert's been back there. Well, hell, Deebo Samuel's been back there. Multiple running backs have been effective in that offense in the last 2, 3, 4 years. Got to give the 49ers credit, if you ask me. I do not think they've had premier offensive talent. Another one that's underthrown. I don't think they've had premier offensive talent, to be honest with you, but they've been able to, make it to a Super Bowl, damn near make it to another one. Clearly, this ball should be thrown, further out here. I don't believe there's no other defender between Samuel and the sideline, and it's thrown, well behind him. Samuel would fit in not just with the Ravens offense and some of those concepts right there. I think he would fit in terms of the matchups that he would get. Who are you going to allot the number one corner to? Marquise Brown? Probably not. Bateman? Either Bateman or Andrews, I guess. Then that's going to leave tremendous opportunities for Brown and Samuel. If the Ravens went out and got him and somehow were able to get him to play at the salary he's at this year, wonderful. You got a 1-year, solution to your offensive weapons, but I understand you're probably going to have to get rid of 14 in order to get him. Nice throw by Garoppolo. One of the times when the ball is thrown completely on target gives Samuel the opportunity to make a move, and you can see he's difficult to tackle. Even when he is brought down, he usually drags people with him. A semi-flood, similar to one I just showed you 2 plays ago against the Colts. Samuel is up here. He's going to run the high route, and then the low route's going to be run by the running back here, with this operating essentially as a clear-out route. It's not exactly a flood concept because he's a little late getting here, if you ask me. Ball, could have been thrown. Could it be thrown earlier? He's got to clear this linebacker. This is one of those ones where, Garoppolo deserves some credit, but I feel like it's a half beat late. You guys let me know what you think. I feel like the ball should be there like about now, and it's almost, getting him set up to get knocked out by this recovering corner. We know that we threw the ball all over the Colts, and on some of these play action concepts, Jimmy Garoppolo did too. Just another example of them creating a tight pocket for him to throw from. No pressure at all. You can see Samuel up here, top right portion of your screen. And this is the linebacker that I think he's got to wait for him to clear. I feel like the ball should be out already, thrown over here, so that the linebacker can't get there and Samuel can't take a shot from this DB, which he didn't in this case anyway. I'm not going to sit here and offer comment on the salary structure, to be honest with you. I'm not an expert on them things. I just know the guy makes plays and is a hell of a weapon. He burned Chicago multiple times. Almost had 2 long touchdowns. Call this a post, call this a skinny post, whatever you want to call it. He's just beating a guy one-on-one. Now this safety here, for whatever reason, is checking up to help out with this route. Consequently, allows Deebo Samuel the one-on-one up here to the field side. I think this was late in the second quarter, because you'll see at the end of the play, Deebo Samuel hustles to try to get the ball back to the ref, and they try to get lined up real quick. End zone angle, you'll see a little bit better view of the angle that Garoppolo had to throw the football. There's the safety who's dealing with this underneath route. If it's late in the second quarter, as late as I think that it is, I'm not sure why you're worrying about that route, but in any case, wins a matchup. Granted, there's a lot of leverage to throw the football. There's a lot of space in here, and he's got the angle. When I say he, I mean Deebo Samuel. But there are guys who don't make this catch. There are DBs who recover and stop this. It doesn't happen against Deebo Samuel, though. The last play I'm going to show you, or one of the last plays I'm going to show you, is the one I mentioned in the introductory picture, where Deebo Samuel beats Marcus Peters. Well, he beats Brandon Carr and then catches the ball over Marcus Peters. RPO concept here. They don't throw the football to him, but when I say he's an offense in and of himself, I mean that. I mean, you could put him at running back and you could run this stuff and with another receiver running the RPO. Or you could put him as the receiver and let him be the RPO guy. Clearly, when I say RPO guy, I mean slant guy. Clearly, Garoppolo is reading probably this defender here who is jamming up Deebo Samuel, so he doesn't want to throw the football. He's already decided to hand it off. Another RPO. Similar in that the ball is handed off, not given to him back, but he's on the same side as the running back. Deebo Samuel, if you ask me, would give this offense so much versatility and so much ability to put people in conflict. I would love to see it. I think it could change the dynamic of the division. But I'm also a person that thinks, drafting Jamison Williams at 14, or maybe even Drake London at 14, could accomplish the same thing. So maybe you don't want to go out there and deal with this salary. A third down situation. That's what I got illustrated right here. Third down situation against the Bears. They're going to run a screen. Forgive the video resolution. It clears up in a minute, hopefully. Great job by the O-line and the number one receiver out here blocking, giving Deebo Samuel an opportunity to just turn the Jets on. One of the offensive linemen has got all the way out here when the line of scrimmage, I think, was back here on the 16. Pretty incredible, if you ask me. About an 18, 19-yard vertical run, but he came, at an angle across the field, so it's probably actually about 25-yard run. Shows off Deebo Samuel's speed, explosiveness, big playability. Man, would do wonders for this offense, as long as you got offensive linemen that can get out here and do this. I count 4 of them right here, and a tight end out there trying to get out in front and do the job. Great job by 50. You guys let me know in the comment section. Obviously I'm trying to put out as much content as possible the day that that things happen in the news or whatever, to try to remain pertinent and on time with things. Tailback swing route doesn't generate much in terms of yards, but another way that he was used in that Joker's set, if you're not familiar, what I call Jokers, is 2 running backs next to each other, one on either side of the quarterback. When we did this past year, one of the guys was Patrick Ricard. This would squeeze Ricard out in a lot of ways. There would still be personnel groupings where Ricard's on the field with 2 receivers. I would still like to see some 21 personnel with Ricard on the field and Deebo Samuel out there. That would be interesting to me. Whereby Deebo Samuel could be a wide receiver, or he could be a tailback back there in the backfield, and then you could slide Ricard down to tight end. So essentially it would turn into a 22 personnel grouping from a 21 personnel, a 22 personnel formation from a 21 personnel grouping. I misspoke a moment ago. Another swing route, inconsequential in terms of the yards to Samuel. Toss plays, really effective. Gets out on the edge. This one's to the boundary. Ate up Dallas with stuff like this. He runs with a head of steam. He trusts his blockers. They do a great job there in San Francisco. Look at the job by this left guard and this left tackle. They're going to handle this D end or 4-eye and this front side inside linebacker. Fantastic job sealing off the inside, giving Deebo Samuel, possibly a 2-way go in here or outside. He chooses to follow the fullback, take it out towards the sideline. Just capable of doing everything. Here he is blocking on a toss concept. That's him out there as the wide receiver. You can see he's getting out here trying to make the last block on a long touchdown run. It doesn't unfold that way, but the effort is there. I'm not sure what there is to not like about him, to be honest with you. He's passing up this corner because what they're thinking is that this pulling tight end is going to get out there to the corner. Now he doesn't. He ends up, knocking 57 out of the play. Deebo Samuel, moves up to the next level. Really prepared. Toss crack scheme into down here to the field. They like to use motion away from the toss sometimes. Doesn't work. You have 2 guys that run into each other. A cracking receiver and a right tackle pulling, basically run into each other, block each other. You see it better from the end zone angle. It's going to be this right tackle here, pulling to the outside, and then a receiver who's off screen is going to run into him because they're trying to leave this D end unblocked right here, saying, hey, he can't catch Deebo Samuel. Something just wasn't communicated about who was going to go first and who was going to go second. All right, 2019, 4th and 2, as you see right here. In Baltimore, first possession of the game, Deebo Samuel up top, and he's going to be operating against Brandon Carr and Marcus Peters. Brandon Carr played quite well for the Ravens in 2019. He's initially guarding Deebo Samuel, and then the spot shadow guy right there is Marcus Peters. And Deebo Samuel just basically runs through his face, catches the football. Young, talented, strong, is going to win matchups. There should be no better illustration for you when I say that he can win matchups than that play right there. That's Marcus Peters. Well, I believe Marcus Peters had more interceptions in the first 5 or 6 years of his career than any DB in the history of the NFL. Maybe he was second. But in any case, he does not lose a ton of one-on-one matchups. He did there quite easily. You guys let me know what you think. 2 more plays here to finish this up. And this one's really unique. I did kind of mention this earlier. They're running a play-action concept. And Deebo Samuel, look how wide he's lined up. Look how far he's lined up from the right tackle. Believe it or not, he's assigned to get to the other side of the field. It's a play action. So the running back and all the offensive linemen are all going this way. And then Garoppolo obviously is going to boot back the other way. Look how far Deebo Samuel is away to try to get all the way to the other side of the field. And he does. Now, they choose to throw the ball to, one of the over routes here. This receiver right here. Fine, but Deebo Samuel is open. That's unique. Not everybody, you can't do that with an H-back. And I'm going to show you the end zone angle to hopefully illustrate it even better. You get motion coming left to right with Juszczyk, or however you say it. All the offensive linemen and the running back are working to the right. Usually, the H-back or tight end would be located about right there so that he's close enough to get over to the other side. Not Deebo Samuel. He's got so much speed and burst, he's able to start from the other side of the field, still get out to the edge, and be wide open. Hey, I think it'd be a great option. I would love to see the Ravens explore it. Good hands, generally. You do get a drop here. He's on under concept. You got a clear out route by the number 3, and then a little China in back by the number 2. You get the end zone angle. If you're going to talk about drop passes with Deebo Samuel, go ahead and do so. There's plenty of opportunities to do so if you wish. But it's because the guy touched the ball so much. He's a reliable guy. I think he'd be a great option for the Ravens to look at. Would he cost a lot of money? After a year, yes. If he wants to come in and get paid that money right now, yeah, that could be an issue. I understand it. We got to get Lamar Jackson handled first. Maybe, and this sounds unfortunate, maybe that means somebody's got to be traded over there who's going to take up some salary. Devin Duvernay, Marquise Brown, which I don't think that would happen. Who knows how they can make it work? Let me know in the comment section if you want the Ravens to make it work, if you think Deebo Samuel would be worth acquiring. If you're not going to give up number 14, you probably got to trade someone who's got some value on your team. And I'm not exactly sure who that is, Marquise Brown, Devin Duvernay, like I mentioned, or someone else. And then if you don't want to give up a player that's got some value already, an established player in your team, then I guess you got to give up number 14 this year. So in essence, it comes down to, do you want to trade number 14 away to pick up Deebo Samuel? You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already.